Hey guys, welcome to my rebuild video of my Blata 2.5 Mini Moto. These bikes came to the UK, I think originally in the mid-90s, and I've sort of been interested in these since then. Had my first one in 1996. I've had several over the years, and I've just recently got back into it. So this bike started off as an eBay find. I've stripped it down and I've had a lot of it refinished by some good contacts of mine. And I'm going to give it a little rebuild for you. So let's start off with getting the headset bearings in. What I need to do first is just grease the inside of the frame here, just so it makes it easier to get the bearings in place. So bearing one. Might need a bit of persuasion from a rubber mallet. Turn it over. Probably a slightly crude method of putting that in there, but it's worked. The other thing we've got is this shaft, which goes down the frame, which is clearly the wrong one, because that's definitely too long. So where's that come from? Wheels maybe? So I need to swap that over. There you go. Would help you use the right length shaft. So that just literally just drops in there like so. Next bearing needs to come in here. Just take this and before it goes in too far, let's stick this in and just help it line up. I'm going to need a screwdriver. Shaft in place. Whoopsie daisy. Right, let's just take it off there for a minute. Just sitting a little bit proud. Let's give it a bit of a helping hand. That's better. There you go, in, and then if you look, you can see the shaft that I've installed, which helps with the operation of the forks and everything I'm going to put on in a second. So next part is the installation of the yokes. Now the yokes are basically what hold the forks in place. So let me do this. That goes through there. That through. Next one goes on there. Now I've got some washers here, so I just want to check where I'm putting these washers. I put one at the top which I think might be wrong. It might need to go underneath the yoke. And you've got one there, which then goes between that yoke and one that must go underneath. So let's just check that out. Okay, yeah, that's the wrong way around. So that needs to come up. Washer goes underneath. Bolt goes back through. Straight through the frame. And then we've got these two washers here. I need that bolt. So that one goes there. Yoke goes on there. Washer. Then bolt. Okay, I'm not going to go too mad tightening this up at this stage, so I want to get the front end completely together, but let me just tighten this up. Okay, that's that in place. Okay, this next section could be a little bit tricky. So I've had these forks powder coated, like a satin gold finish, to sort of mimic what they have on like the race bikes. And because of the finish, and I've got to get it through the yokes here, I'm a little bit worried about scratching. So I'm gonna maybe apply a little bit of grease, just a little bit, but let's just have a little look first at how tight it is. It feels snug, so let's not risk undoing the good work that's been done. So let's just loosen off a bit. Get the grease pot out. So I'm just going to smear a tiny little bit of grease out there. I'm sure some of you will be watching this going, no, because the forks will then never stay in there tight, but I'm literally just putting a really thin smear, so I'm sure it'll be fine. So, wish me luck. Wow, it's really tight. Okay, another challenge, I've got an idea. Let's remove these bolts. So this will be a little bit crude, but I'm wondering if I could just wedge, oh yeah, that feels like it's gonna help. So wedging this in there, hopefully will make it a bit easier. Now I need another set of hands, so I'll just use a dad bod instead. Just got to be really careful with this. There we go. Nice and steady. Okay. Okay. Definitely need another set of hands. Right, I'm not going to force that. Let's get the other one in. Let's tackle it in a minute. Okay. fiddly.com. That's not a plug, it just is. Okay, front end in properly, everything's all tightened up. No paint damage, luckily, to the forks. Looking good. Okay, next little job. We'll get the front mudguard on and you pop rivet these on. So, brought pop rivet gun. Let's have a go at trying to do this. I think that needs to change the hole setting. Okay. Do I look like I know what I'm doing? Not sure, I'll wing it. So, that just goes on there. Okay, so, wish me luck. Okay. Don't break. Ooh, okay. That seemed to go okay. Did definitely worry for a second. Grips it very tight. I feel like that's okay. That's the next one in. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, something weird's happened. So it appears to have gone in, but it's not snapped off. Okay. Oh, here we go, I think. Oh, okay. Looks okay. No one's lost a finger. It's all in one bit. Looking good. Okay, made a slight mistake. When putting these together, should have fitted these. So what I'm going to do, rather than take the forks out again, which will be a pain in the bum because I'm going to be scratching the forks and it's an effort, I'm going to remove this bolt very carefully, try and spread that apart and then reclamp it back together. Wish me luck. Okay, fixed that. You'll be pleased to know that I didn't bend the brackets for the handlebars to bodged them on. I'd actually just removed the yokes and the top one come off actually really easily, so bars are now installed. Not fully tightened yet or in their final resting place because I'd like to line them up once I've got all the grips and bits on and the fairing in place. Okay, next job on the list I think is to rebuild the wheels. As you can see, they're a two-piece design which bolt together. It's a 3x4 inch tyre set with inner tubes, disc brakes, and there's your rear sprocket. Okay, first things first, let's put a little bit of grease inside the wheels where the wheel bearings have got to sit. Just make it a little bit easier to get them in. Okay, this is put the bit where I get a little bit physical with the rubber mallet. So for the faint-hearted of you, I will cut here and will reappear in a second when they're seated. Okay, there you go, bearings seated. Let's get these wheels back together. Make sure I get this the right way around. So the brake disc goes on the other side of the wheel. So this section then goes in here. So I just need to thread the valve through the wheel. Bit fiddly. I do a bigger 6.5 inch wheel for the later Blata 2.5s, but I always prefer the look of this small 4 inch wheel. It just looks more in keeping with the dimensions of the bike. It doesn't ride as well with these smaller wheels on, but for me it's just all about the visual side of it. Okay, that's that one back together. Just need to now fit the brake disc. Okay, done. A little bit of air. This one's ready to go on. Okay, this is the rear wheel. Important to make sure that you've got the tread facing the same way as the front wheel. So that looks good. Spin it round. Right, so on this one, need to install this pipe which goes between the wheels, and it basically holds the like the spindle in a certain position. So let's put that in. Suddenly started thinking, was there supposed to be one for the front wheel? So I bet you there is, and I'm going to be taking this apart in a second. Awkward. I'll have a look. It's all a learning process when you're rebuilding something without the instructions, so you expect to make a few mistakes along the way. Okay, that's the rear wheel tightened up and air in both tyres, so now I'm going to fit the rear sprocket. Get the right Allen key. Right. Definitely got to take the front wheel apart. Get that sleeve in there. It's annoying, but I'll get that done in a second. We're all done. Okay, back on the front wheel. Okay, wheels finally done. Time to get them in the frame. Okay, that's really annoying. So when installing the brand new Blata foot pegs, they both split down the middle. So anybody who's got any tips on how to fit these without destroying them, please let me know. So, front wheel, just trying to think if I've missed anything else out before I stick this in here. Back wheel in as well. So this one has a few spaces on the washers, so I'll just get this in the right way first. Ooh, different size washers. Okay. I'm going to say that one goes out. Okay, not sure if that's the right way around or not. I'll just put that on there. Okay, so I was a little bit confused just there. So this washer here, as you can see, is or washer or spacer, it's much wider than the one that's on this side. So after a quick just check online, I realised it's to do with the rear brake. The rear brake actually slots in there as well and will help pinch up that gap, and then it attaches onto the frame. So let's do that now. Okay, jumped ahead a little bit now. I've just put the levers in place, front brake caliper, wired up the actual front brake cable, and then just pop the seat unit on just so I can have a look at it. I think it looks great. So I think next job, probably is going to be putting the exhaust pipe and the engine in, and then the grips, and then lastly the fairing. Okay, now so it's time to start putting the engine back together. So I've got the engine case to put back on the bike here, and I've also got to rebuild the pull start, which will be challenging because I've not done that before, but I'm sure it'll be fun. Okay, this could be fun. So this is the pull start section. So I've taken it all apart so I can get this repainted because it was in a bit of a mess before. I've got this cheeky little spring that's got to go back in. I think it's going to be fairly straightforward. Let's have a little go and see what happens. Yeah, this is fun. Goes that way. That way around, I think. Yep. Well, I'm really glad I forgot to put my gloves back on. This is not a good job. One ping and this is going everywhere. I think I've just got to get it as tight as I can. There must be an easier way of doing this. Oh, blimey. Oh. Okay, brilliant. All right, let's stop for a second. Well, I've done it, but I'm not gonna lie, that was a tedious job, really tedious. So let's go ahead now and get the pull start bit back in and get this buttoned up. Yeah, that was a really annoying job, but look, I've done it, it's brilliant. New decal's on, pull start works as it should. But yeah, not fun, it just takes a little bit of patience. Okay, that's all back together. So just give it a little test. Ooh. There you go, without knocking the table over. That all works nice. Okay, next stage we'll be fitting the exhaust. Exhaust originally was very corroded, and with some help I've had it stripped, polished and heat stained, just in the relevant areas. Looks really smart. So let's have a go at trying to thread this back in the frame. It's a bit fiddly, but there we go. So that's in. So what I'll do is I will get this bolt through. Just hold it in place. Okay, and then now will be to get the engine in there. Hopefully I haven't made it more difficult for myself with the exhaust fix like that. Actually, I might be right. Let's undo that. And let's leave the exhaust completely loose so I can move it about to get the engine in place. So take that bolt out. Turn it like that. That's probably better. Right, okay, engine time. Routed through. Just trying to have a think now about how the accelerator cable was routed through the frame from the engine. Might need to just check some of my previous photos. Okay, current stage. Both grips on, levers on. Carburetor connected up with the accelerator wire, exhaust pipe in. Looking nice. Engine all bolted up. Really coming together now. Okay, bike build day one. Getting there. A few little jobs I need to do. Sort the brakes out properly. Sort out the chain guard, which needs painting. But it looks pretty cool. Love that exhaust. Love the finish on the frame. Thanks very much to Superbike Dan for sorting that out under light. It's got a blue metal flake in it. It looks really nice. Love the forks. That's great. Very tempted just to stick the bodywork on it for now, but I still need to fit decals to the bodywork, fit the seat pad, and just give it its final touches. But no, looking good.